So this is how an ice storm froze over $40,000 of my client's money. I don't even know where to start, but there was this house that I showed, and anytime a house is older than 1980, I always caution my buyers that there could be plumbing issues that we want to look into, right? Because cast iron pipes were used a couple decades ago, and then they switched to PVC, and anyways, cast iron, if you don't know, has a tendency to degrade over time. And when it does that, it can cause any host of problems. And so in a pier and beam house, not so much of an issue, but in slab foundation, that can be very costly to tunnel underneath the house. So we found this house and we fall in love with the house and we had the conversation that we always have. Sure enough, the inspector found that it had degraded cast iron pipes. So we followed up and we had a plumber come out and they evaluated it and they quoted us $98,000. Okay, so talk about an opportunity to kill a deal. The fact that we even held it together beyond that point was amazing. So we got a second inspection. This time the seller performed the inspection and they were comfortable with the number, whatever it was, and decided that they would bring somebody in, do the repairs that were needed because buyer wanted to buy the house, seller wanted to sell the house. We're all on the same page. So the repairs get done. House was supposed to close at the end of the month. Surprise, it didn't, because the repairs weren't done. The plumber continued to find more and more and more things until finally they came back and said, we're going to replace the entire system because we cannot find a good piece of pipe to tie it into. We had to extend the lock on the loan. Every time you do that, there's a fee associated with it. We extended and we extended and we extended and we extended. I think it was 4 or 5 times. The lender was gracious the entire time. We get to the final week before closing and the seller is saying, yes, it'll be ready, no question. And we still don't have receipts. And we have a lender who says you have to close by this day. There are no more extensions available. This is the day that has to be done. Then the weekend comes and we still don't have what we need, and closing's supposed to be that Monday. And to make a long story short, we didn't have it the morning of closing. They finally send over the receipts and they just say, basically replaced plumbing. That's not enough. So we then had to spin our wheels and go back and try to get detailed receipts that said exactly what they replaced so that my buyers were confident in the repairs that were completed. And so lender is asking me what's going on. Insurance company is asking me when should we start the policy. Buyers are asking me when can we schedule movers. It's just kind of a comedy of issues at this point. And so then an ice storm hits. That never happens in Dallas-Fort Worth. And so we have this ice storm happening, and it came down to the fact that we all drove from different directions in the ice storm when everything was closed down. The title company opened their doors for us. The buyer came from across the Metroplex, lender and I as well. And we got to the title company thinking, this is it. We're going to close on the house today and we're not going to lose it, because that was the alternative. If we didn't close that day, we're going to lose the house. I don't even know how to keep putting this into words, but we get to the title company and the buyer's not able to wire their funds because their bank had closed down because of the ice storm. And so we're there and we're calling customer service, we're on the internet, but of course it's a smaller bank and they don't do online wire transfers. And so the lender's sitting there and he's already funded his piece and title company's done their piece and seller's done their piece. We've all done our parts and there's just not the buyer's money to close on the house. I have never seen it done before, but that lender stepped up and said, I know you're good for it. I will fund the loan and you can bring me the money as soon as the bank opens. And when you talk about customer service and going above and beyond, and you think about those moments to really shine in your business, that lender did it. God, he blew me away in that moment because he put, I don't even remember the number, 44,000, 45,000, something like that on the line, and he put his name attached to it for somebody that was nobody to him other than a client. That's not normal, right? But that's a lender that I trust, and that's a lender that certainly is going to get my business again. Buyers closed, they delivered the money, they moved in, and it's great. It was supposed to close at the end of December, and it didn't. It closed January 31st.